UFC Fight Night Evloev versus Murphy goes down this weekend. Today I'm going to go through the entire card, give my prediction and breakdown for every single fight on the card. So let's just get straight into it. Main event: Movsar Evloev versus Lerone Murphy. I'm When this fight first got announced, I was leaning Movsar. Obviously I want Lerone to win. I always want the English guys to win, but when it first got announced, I was leaning Movsar. But recently I've kind of switched and I'm going to go with Lerone. Now it might be English bias, I know, but I just think fuck, I can't speak. Movsar, he's been out for a while. Last time we saw him was 2024 against Aljo. Laurie's been a more active guy and everything. This is in England as well. I don't think Movsar's going to get a finish. Obviously, he's kind of allergic to getting a finish. He's never had one in the UFC. He's like 9-0 all by decision. And in a fight which I do think is going to go to a decision either way, obviously, either guy could get a finish. Lerone's probably the most likely to get the finish out of the two. Neither guys are like a KO merchant or anything, but Lerone does hit harder. He's got more finishing upside, but even in a fight that I do think is going to go to a decision, especially with the English crowd, even if Movsar gets 3 minutes of control time here in this fight, and Lerone gets up and lands 2 or 3 big shots, the crowd's going to go mental, and I think that could help sway the judges. I also think that, I'll get into that more now, but in this fight, Movsar's going to win the minutes, He's going to take Lerone down, hold him up against the cage for a bit, hold him down for a little bit, but he's not going to do much damage. In the period of time where Lerone gets up, which he is very good at, his takedown defense is questionable, but his get-ups are very good. In the times when he gets up and this fight's on the feet, if he just lands 2 or 3 shots, it could swing around in his favour. Just because Movsar barely, he's going to take Lerone down, he's not going to do much damage with it. He might get a little couple rabbit punches off here and there. But if they stand up, and Lerone lands like a stepping elbow or something and a body kick, crowd goes nuts. Maybe Movsar reacts a little bit. That's going to swing around in Lerone's favour. And I think he can do that enough to get the win here. Because I don't think Movsar's going to be able to just hold him down like Charles did to Max and just take his back and dominate him. I don't think he's going to be able to do that to Lerone here. I think Lerone's get-ups are too good. I don't think Movsar's dominant enough in the grappling to be able to do that to someone like Lerone. Maybe he could do it to some of the lower ranked guys, but even then, you've seen him struggle with them. Holding them down, the guys have been able to get up on him. And I think if he's doing that against Lerone, if he's doing that against other guys, I think Lerone is going to be able to get back up every time he gets taken down. I do think he'll get taken down a lot of times and struggle to stop the takedowns. But I think once he's down, we saw it in the Pico fight, he can get up very easily and then cause damage. We saw with the Pico, he knocked him out. So I could see that here. Like I said, Lerone is the guy that's most likely to get a finish here. I don't think either guy will, but if you said to me right now you have to pick one, who's going to get a finish, it would be Lerone. I think everyone would agree. Even though he's not like a KO artist, but I'm going to go with Lerone by close decision. I can see it being a split. I think either way it's going to be a very close decision, and people are going to say that it was the wrong decision. People are going to call it a robbery either way, but I'm going to go with Lerone. It might be English bias. I'll probably end up picking most English guys on the card, but fuck it. Go to the co-main event. This is a sick fight. Luke Riley versus Michael Aswell. And I'm going to go with Luke Riley because I want to. I don't know. Michael Aswell is good. He saw in his last fight. His last fight was weird. He got a good first round knockout against Almeida, but at the same time, Almeida's hand was fucked. You could see it. He'd broken it either very recently in camp or he broke it right at the start of camp and just carried on training anyway and fucked up even more because his hand was completely swollen. He didn't throw it out all in the fight. And I think Aswell would have beat him anyway, to be honest. I think he's a much better fighter. But Luke Riley is a different level to Almeida. And he's going to be hopefully fully healthy. Unless he's broke his hand too, who knows. And yeah, I'm going to pick Riley by a close decision. Now, Riley's whole career, you could kind of see it in his UFC debut, just not as much. It's just, he kind of loses the first bit of the fight, gets hit a lot, takes a lot of damage, and then just wears the guy out. And then just lands a big shot later in the fight and it swings it in his favour. You did see it in his last fight. He obviously lost the first round to Bogdan Grad in the grappling. And then he came back and knocked him out in the second round. I think something similar is going to happen in this fight. I feel like Aswell will win the first round. And then it'll be a competitive. I don't think he's going to dominate him or anything. I think Aswell will win the first round. But in the second round, Luke will start throwing a bit more. He'll catch him with a big shot, rock him, swing around in his favour. And then in the third round, I think it'll be close. I think it'll be a bit of a war, this fight. But I think Luke will just do enough. I think he'll be able to drop Aswell and then secure that third round. Either guy could get a finish here. They both hit hard. Both guys don't have the best defense and don't have the best chin. And yeah, I'm gonna go with Luke Riley by either decision or late KO. But this could go either way, as well as very good. Next fight, Sam Patterson versus MVP. I'm torn on this one. I'm gonna go Sam Patterson as an underdog here. You know, MVP. This is the pick on this card that could look the worst. Like by the end of the card, because like if I pick Lerone to win, like I did, and he loses a close 48-47 decision, that's not a bad pick. This one, Sam Patterson could just be made to look absolutely silly. He could just not be able to get close to MVP whatsoever, not be able to get a hold of him to get the grappling going, and just get picked apart for like 3 rounds straight, or even knocked out with like a flying knee or something. Because Patterson's chin ain't the greatest. I know at welterweight is a lot better than it was at lightweight, but that is still a real possibility here. But I'm gonna go with Patterson. I think he might get the sub here, or he could even finish him on the feet. I doubt it. But we've seen in his last few fights, he's improving on the feet. His power is nice on the feet. He's got a few knockouts recently. Now, those are against guys nowhere near MVP's level on the feet, obviously. But the threat of the takedown will be there in this fight. I think for Patterson, he's just got to get hold of him early. He's just got to run across the octagon, basically, and just grab a hold of him. Even if it's just grab a hold of a single leg or something like that. Get a body lock on him. Anything. Just so MVP's like, it's in the back of his mind, Because we saw once Jared Cannonier there got on top of him, MVP just couldn't move at all. I know that's Jared Cannonier, he's obviously bigger and stronger than Patterson, but Patterson's probably the better grappler. He is the better grappler out of those two. And I think if he gets a hold of MVP here, gets on top of him, threatens a couple submissions, I think he could get one. MVP's grappling is very bad still. I know he's probably just been training that for this camp, but he is still not going to be anywhere near Sam Patterson's level. And I think he can find the sub here. I think he could do damage on the feet as well. So I'm going to pick Patterson by finish. Could look very bad. This is the one that could look the worst out of everything that I've chosen. But yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. Sam Patterson by KO. This is weird matchmaking as well. Not KO, by sub. Weird matchmaking. I don't know why they've done that. I'm not even going to spend long with this fight. Austin Lane had the worst chin at heavyweight, and now he's losing another, 50 pounds compared to what he normally weighs. Yeah, it's not going to end well. Iwo by first round KO. Damn, he's 6 foot. He looks really short when he fights. Obviously, Lane is going to have the massive size advantage. So if he can just kind of run forward and just throw shit, because that kind of just describes his style. He just runs forward, just flailing his arms about. He could find success early, like he did against Pinto, who's also on this card. Obviously, Pinto knocked him out in the second round, but I think Iwo's going to do it first. In the first, I think anytime he connects with his chin, he's going to sleep because his chin was already awful, and now he's dropping down a weight class. Don't know why he's doing that, but yeah. Iwo Baronescu, I think, by first round KO. This next fight, CLD versus Roman Dolidze. I'm gonna go with CLD I'm gonna go decision. I think it's gonna be very dominant, like a 30-26 potentially. I think Dolidze's chin is good enough to where he won't get finished. I think the only time he's ever been finished in his career was his last fight with Fluffy, and obviously that was a bit different. He was injured. Fluffy was just taking him down and controlling him with the grappling, and he got the submission. That's not what CLD is going to do. He's going to keep on the feet and just beat him up. And yeah, I think it's going to be a dominant win, 30-26, and Dolidze probably should just, I don't know if he should retire, but after he loses this fight, which I think he's going to, I think he will be out the rankings, which I think will benefit him just because otherwise it's going to be like a Josh Emmett situation at featherweight, where he's just fighting all these up-and-coming guys like he is with CLD. So I do think it'll be better for him once he's out the rankings, but yeah, I'm going to go with CLD by decision. I think he's going to beat the shit out of him, but Dolidze will be tough enough to survive to the decision, which I think is the same as what's going to happen in this fight. I'm going to go Curtis Campbell by decision. I think Danny Silva's alright, he's just not beat anyone good. He lost to Kevin Vallejos, he beat Angel Pacheco in the Contender Series, and then he had a couple split decisions. I think one was Josh Kulabau, and the other was Almeida or something, I think. And yeah, I think it was the same Lucas Almeida that as well KO'd. And those were both split decision wins. And I think Curtis Campbell here, he's just going to be the much better fighter everywhere, much more well-rounded. I do think Danny Silva's going to be tough enough to survive to a decision, You saw, Kevin Vallejos was knocking everyone out, and Silva survived 3 rounds with him. I think Curtis Campbell's going to be able to do whatever he wants to him. I think he'll beat him on the feet. I think he'll take him down, take his back, threaten submissions. I just think Danny Silva's going to be surviving for 15 minutes, to be honest. Could get a finish here, Curtis Campbell. I just don't think it's going to happen. I'm not going to predict it. So yeah, I'll go Curtis Campbell by decision in a pretty dominant way, 30-27. Maybe 129-28 sprinkled in there, but I'm not going to predict that. Next fight on the card, well, going to be before, but we've got Mason Jones versus Axel Soler. I'm going to go Mason Jones, lighter man skill. It's being proven more true every single week. And I'm going to have to go with it again here. Soler wasn't the biggest welterweight, so I do think he's going to look, I think he'll look alright at lightweight, but I do think this is a tough lightweight debut. Obviously, you've got a great British recovery on display here with Mason Jones. Probably the biggest example of it ever with that Balaji Oki fight. Basically got knocked out in the first round, and then came back and knocked out Oki in the second round. And I think we could see something similar. I think he could be in a bit of trouble early here. Soler could have a lot of success early. And then in the second round, Mason Jones will just land like an overhand right bomb or something. Rock Soler and then put him away. So I'm going to go Mason Jones by finish here. I think he's looking a lot better recently. He did get hit. He did get caught a couple of times against Jeremy Stevens. But I do think in this fight, if that does happen, he could just try to implement the grappling. He has got pretty solid and pretty underrated grappling. He could probably throw Soler about a little bit. Find the ground and pound shots because he is very good at that. That's how he got the finish in his last fight. And yeah, I'm going to go with Mason Jones by finish here. And I think he'll be ranked. Oh shit. I think he'll be ranked pretty soon after that. So yeah, Mason Jones by finish. I don't think I've picked against an English guy here. Or a British guy. And it's not happening here. I already did a whole video on this yesterday, so I won't spend long on it. I'm going to go with Nathaniel Wood by either late finish or decision. If you want to see my breakdown, I made the whole video on it yesterday. Go on my channel. Next fight, Pinto versus Franco. Now, people who don't know Franco, wouldn't blame you. He lost to a fat, obese man on 4 days' notice on the Contender Series. If he doesn't knock you out in the first 2 minutes, you're going to beat him. And he's fighting Pinto on short notice. So I don't even need to explain what's going to happen here. You know what's going to happen here. Pinto's going to take him down and just beat the shit out of him. And probably finish him in the first round. Maybe the second round, if Franco can survive. But I'm going to go with Pinto. Obviously, he was supposed to fight... who was he supposed to fight? Mick Parkin, but he pulled out. I think once Pinto wins this, they should just throw him against like a top 7 guy already. I do think he's on that level. I think he's going to make this fight look easy. It's obviously like a showcase fight for him. It's in England. He'll get the win. Everyone will be happy. And then he can fight someone a lot higher up in the rankings. Speaking of an easy fight, Mantas, I'm not even going to try, versus Trocoli. I'm going to go with Mantas by first round finish. Trocoli is literally checked out of the UFC. He doesn't care anymore. He's like a pro fucking poker player at this point. He posts it on his Instagram. I think that's him. I hope it is. He's literally just a can. He's 0-3 in the UFC. He's been finishing every fight. And he's going to get finished in this one, in the first round. And then they can finally cut him from the sport. He would have got cut anyway. I just think they thought we can get one more debut win out for him, against him. No, he got subbed by Trajan Gore in 1 minute. I'm not picking him to win any fight. Mantas, he had a pretty nice finish on the Contender Series in the first minute. Pretty sure all his recent fights are by first round. All his recent wins, are by first round finish. So I'm going to go with another one here. I don't know if it's going to be a knockout or submission. I would lean KO, but I could see a club and sub situation or a similar situation to Trocoli's last fight where he kind of just sticks his head into a guillotine and loses. I could see that. But yeah, I'm going to go Mantas by first round finish. This next fight, Louis Sutherland versus Perisic. I'm going to be honest, the only fight I've ever seen out of Sutherland is the Walter Walker one. And the only fight I've seen out of Perisic is his last one, where he knocked him out in the first round. So I'm going to just go with, we'll go first round knockout either way. I'm not going to predict who wins. You know what, we'll go Perisic, just because then I've picked against an English guy. And maybe he's the one to lose. Next fight, Shamrock versus Abdul Karim Al-Salwadi. I'm going to go with Abdul Karim. I think Shamrock kind of sucks. His last fight wasn't a good look. He had a bit of success against Aliev, who is levels above this guy, but his striking defense and his boxing defense is so bad. I can't pick him to win any fight ever, apart from maybe an Andrew Jubilee win. Abdul Karim looked pretty good on the Contender Series. Now, the issue is he hasn't fought in about 2 years. He beat George Hardwick, who I do think still good, still pretty decent, probably better than Shamrock. And then he lost to, who was it? He lost to? I think it was Loic Radzhabov. I think that's how you say it. But that was a while ago. It was a pretty bad stoppage as well. And he's not fought for a while. He was supposed to fight a few months ago against Camilo. It got cancelled for UFC 321 and then sent to UFC 322. And then got cancelled again. So I don't know if there's a health problem with him or something, or if he just had a bad injury. But it has been a long time since he fought. But I am going to go with him here just because Shamrock sucks. I'm going to be honest. He's very bad. And I think he could find a KO, but I do think Shamrock would be tough enough to survive to a decision. So I'll go with Abdul Karim by decision. And yeah, okay, there you go. Picked against two English guys, so we're fine. This next fight, Chanel Dye versus Ravina Oliveira. I'll go with no, I won't. I'll go with Chanel Dyer. I do not know anything about this girl, to be honest. But I'm pretty sure she's a can. If you're 7-3, actually that's the average women's MMA record. I don't know. Chanel Dyer looked good in the contender series. I know she lost, but I think the girl she fought is probably going to be in the rankings pretty soon. And yeah, even she had success in that fight as well. She hurt her a bit. She's got nice striking. She had a pretty nice head kick KO a few fights ago on, was it PFL or Bellator? Whichever one it was. And yeah, I think this is a setup fight for her. In England, they know she can get the dub here. And yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. And another women's MMA fight to open the card. So yeah, I'm going to go with Chanel Dye by either decision or by knockout. This next fight, I'm going to go with Melissa Mullins. I'm pretty sure she's an underdog. Carolina keeps losing in England. I think she's fought it twice and lost both times. One of them was the Molly McCann one, so that was very good. Was this in England? This might have been. Was I there? Maybe, I don't know. But she's lost a volley in England. She lost the last fight pretty badly. It was against someone who's pretty good outside the ranking. She's like undefeated, good women's MMA prospect. But I'm gonna go with Mullins here. I think she get the takedowns going and just grind out to a close decision win. Carolina will probably land something on the feet in one of the rounds and make it close, and then it'll be a close decision. Maybe there's like a swing round in round 3 that could go either way to decide the fight. But yeah, that's it. Those are my predictions for the card. Kind of had to rush through it because I woke up late. But yeah, the main ones obviously I'm going with Lerone, Luke Riley, Sam Patterson, Ivo Baraneski, CLD, and Campbell. There's probably a lot of bias in this card just because I always want the English guys to win, obviously. Don't know why this card's in London. If it was in Manchester, I would have gone. But fuck you, Dana. I want to go to London for some reason. But yeah, that's everything. Make sure you go follow my TikTok. It's at Dylan MMA, same as on here. I'm posting on there like twice a day now, depending on if I can be asked. And yeah, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe and all that shit.